think what you're saying there, there's not much awareness.
Coming here, we had £100 between us and some fish cans to eat. We landed in Dublin on the 5th of November 2005. The first night we had spent in rain. It was raining heavily and the station was closed. We had to wait till the morning for the bus to Newry, to a fellow we knew.
Well, the first time I came to Ireland, I went to the north when I was 12 just to learn English, and I loved Ireland. So years after, when I was 25, 26, I'm not sure, I just came to the north and stayed here.
To look for work?
Yeah. I've been working. Well, I'm unemployed at the minute, but I just came here to work here and stay, live here.
He said that we will be working in England packing mushrooms, and the next thing he told us to buy tickets for Belfast. So I was sort of surprised, since when Belfast is in England, but then who I am to question it. We didn't really knew much about Northern Ireland, just that there were some troubles and bombs blowing up, but that was about it.
Hi, my name is Andrews and I am from Lithuania. I came in North Ireland when I was 18, just to save money for computer and have a nice summer, a couple of parties, basically. And now I'm here 8.5 years.
I'm here 5 years. I had enough of begging for work in Poland. Every employer stated that he looked for a younger person.
I came to study in Northern Ireland, yeah, and I found it pretty interesting to study, based on the fact that the people I study with, I would say global students, not mainly from maybe Northern Irish or British or whatever, or Europe, so mainly global students.
I came just a couple of months after Poland joined the EU, and obviously looking for money as usual. It was, I already had a job when I came. It was sorted out through the friend of a friend of a friend, which I've never seen in my life. And I came to Belfast, and some people picked us up in a van and took us to Armagh. And then next day we started picking mushrooms. That was quite a big shock after being a PhD student back in Poland.
We're looking some other way, better way for change our life. We have a son. He's now 18 years old, and we're looking because it was very changing in politics changing in my land, and we doesn't that, in our opinion, was going in the good way that we coming here for changing for better our life, and I think it's good decision.
I think the challenges to finding work is that the moment they say you a black person, they just feel like they automatically believe that you're unqualified for the job, and they don't give you the opportunity for the work to try to see if you are able, your experience. You may have the qualification, but it still comes down to the race thing, because they feel like if they have too many color people in work, it may cause a problem.
It's very challenging to find a work, yeah. Based on the academic qualifications, the employment in Northern Ireland is very competitive. Because if you look at the fact, like, even though some people want to work in some public service, or let me say ministry or whatever, there's a kind of 50-50. For Catholic 50, Protestant 50, which migrant are not included.
I'm finding it very hard to find a job at the minute, and even I've been applying for jobs that I am overqualified, and they don't even get back to me to say you haven't been shortlisted or anything. Like jobs that they ask you for a CGSE, and I have a degree, and they don't even say why you haven't been shortlisted. You don't get any feedback.
If I went to an agency to look for work, like for example, at the moment I'm out of work. I was made redundant, and they have my CV and everything and my qualification, but still till this date, whenever I phone, there is no job. It's been 3 months I've been on it. There's been, whereas I went with another friend and she has got work. She's been called by the agency, and sometimes it makes me wonder, why is that? If I've got the same qualification as her, could it just be because of the color of my skin?
Although it says in the paper, like, applications are welcome from all spectrum of the society, either you're a migrant or blah blah blah, but at the back door, so to speak. So it's very challenging.
Yeah, normally you are overqualified for any jobs you find here. It seems like you get jobs because you speak another language rather than because you are prepared for doing a job.
You look at local government in mainland UK, you see some migrants working, you know, in the local government, in some part of public departments. That's not the case here.
I was looking for jobs here, and the best I have found so far is in call center jobs, Spanish-speaking call center jobs.
The recent one I went for about 3 weeks ago, yeah. I'm not going to name the company, so I went for the job. The first selection process was group selection. Everybody was in the hall, and we were being divided into groups. Yeah, and the first group, second group. So you have to have a kind of group discussion, come out with an opinion or whatever. They gave us a booklet to read. After reading the booklet, yeah, you have to decide what and what. So they want to see who you are in the group, of which I was not relenting myself. I spoke within the group. I made decision within the group. At the end of the day, they just came and said, called some names and said, those that you have called are those that are going to the next stage. All of you have not made it. And I just thought to myself, how is that? No interview, no written test, nothing. You know, and to me that was not a standard recruitment for any job, for anything. And even though I've applied for so many other jobs, yeah, that I know I'm more than qualified for the job, yeah.
The job, you know, it was a kitchen porter job, but I felt that, you know, people that are coming after me, that came into the job after me to the kitchen, you know, they are being, you know, promoted, and I'm still doing the dishes all this time, you know. If not for the, you know, promotion, you know, being, you know, discriminated against when it comes to, you know, pay rise or, you know, I mean, giving better chances, you know. People who came after me, they've been, you know, cooking, serving food, they've been like working at the bar, you know, doing bar attendance from the kitchen, you know. And, you know, I've just, you know, they just made me to be stable, constantly doing the dishes, you know. You know, that's why I left the work, you know. The experience, I think it's not been, you know, if it was been racism, it wasn't open racism, but a kind of sort of, you know, I'm not being given the opportunity to be promoted, to be better off than doing dishes all the time. I think it's a bit of, you know, a bit of racism, or even being, you know, put aside because I'm a minority, you know.
I start working in some company close to Dangannon, that is a furniture company, and I start working on the floor. I working on the wrapping machine. After them, after 3-4 months, I start work in office, but all the time I see was matter not good in my factory where I was work.
I stayed on the farm for 4 months, and it definitely wasn't for me, so I started to work in a chippy, and then I worked in a place that sell stuff for home, and I worked there for a few months, but I wanted to do my courses for interpreting, but the employer wouldn't let me, so I left.
I got some contract in a couple of restaurants, and but was basic contract, and my English wasn't good in that time, so basically I just signed and I said didn't know what I am signing. A lot of Eastern Europeans is getting with that problems. So some people have to come and sign contract before we wanna get the job, and we have to sign contract before even we read a contract. Just come in and work, sign contract, doesn't matter what is writing on a contract, and stay in a factory or a workplace.
Nobody have contracts. Everybody get money just like for 40 hours, like minimum wages weekly. And this was 3 weeks, minimum. But everybody have like 70 hours, 80 hours, 60 hours, and get just that weekly 40 hours, like working in time, get back home just to take food, cigarettes or something, go to night shift. Back in the morning, sleep a couple, 5 hours, 6, and back to job again. It's, because it's from my experience, one week I had in this company 120 hours per week. I must this job to done very quickly, and I had for this job I think 3 days. And I was in a job 44 hours non-stop.
Oh, I work different hours in hotel. In 1 month I did 350 hours. So I did big and long hours. I never get overtime pay, not in even one job. Doesn't matter how many hours I did. Some people came from Scotland to work in North Island building site, and they came in the site, they see how people working, they turn around and said it's not safe, it's not good for us, and they back to Scotland.
I think the first place was fast food restaurant. That was a place where I've seen that there are some mistakes that they do, some things that they don't, like maybe breaking a law or something like that, regulations, in terms of the working hours, length of it, because I used to do an enormous amount of hours, but I knew the regulations well. I didn't complain at that time.
For beginning in an Apple factory I got £3 an hour, but that was 2002. In Le Mans Hotel, when I worked, I got minimum wages.
I remember the first job I was in a call center. They told me it was going to be a Monday to Friday job in the interview, because I told them that I was still working in the restaurant the weekends, and they said that's fine because this job is Monday to Friday. But then a year after, and because we had signed a contract that said we were flexible in hours, they made it a 24/7 job, and we couldn't really say anything against that. It was always a rotation. It was always 24 hours from Monday to Friday, but then suddenly it just became 24/7 the whole week. We took turns.
Cleaning work, let's say, there was hardly, you wouldn't see a white person doing, you see Polish, you see black people doing cleaning work or packing or something like that. You will see that people from here were now really open to these jobs. But once they realized that there are more people like Polish and maybe Chinese people or other different culture coming to do this work, they became really like, oh, all the jobs are gone, but these were jobs that were here, but the people here were not willing to do it. And people, I'm from my country, I'm not fussy, I came here to live. If I have a qualification and you wouldn't employ me because you feel like I've got lack of experience, and this is where you feel like I'm suitable and it will feed my family or look after me and help people back home, I would do that job.
Were you in a trade union? Are you in a trade union, or did anybody ever approach you about a trade union?
No, nobody else.
Even in the call centre, there was never a question about about trade unions.
I've never experienced something.
Was it financial sector, or was it?
You mean?
When you worked in the call centre?
It was like a customer advisor, like. we deal, no, we deal with it was Vodafone dealing with customer, inquiries.
And nobody ever talked to you about the Unite Union?
Actually, I've never been, been involved, try to be involved with the political activities of the people of this land.
I find here that people don't cooperate with other workers. They're not really aware that they are the working class, and they should be struggling against people that are going to try to take advantage of them. So, and yet, from the employer's point of view, I don't think they like it here when you stand for your rights, or if they can think you could be in a union, or they wouldn't really like that much. Right, but in Spain it's like something, everybody would stand for their own rights. You will always tell your boss when you don't agree with something.
I wasn't even aware about getting sick pay. Even whenever I was made redundant there, somebody had to tell me that you could take your boss to the Citizen Advice Bureau to get money for being made redundant. I've never been part of any trade union, any organization that has been set up that I know, apart from Citizen Advice Bureau, where you go if you have a problem with finance and all them things, or immigration issue, where you go. That's only Citizen Advice Bureau. That's the only awareness I know that is in this in Northern Ireland to me. So.
Not even one place was a trade union, and nobody asked that I wanna become part of trade union, or basically some places was friendly, some places the staff was quite nasty, and just well, you have to stand for yourself. If not, it's gonna be very hard for you.
Because I was off sick with a back problem, and my boss says, well, if you can't come back to work, then I'm gonna I have to find somebody else. It was like, come to work with your back problem. That's how I felt. I felt like they didn't care about me so long I was covering the work where I was assigned to, and they were making the money. I felt just like an instrument, a tool in the work.
When it was very bad in our company, it's very bad. I know that's from my side. Yes, I looking for bad. I started looking for some member union or some staff for member. I started ask my friends. I started looking from the newspaper, and one from my friends gave me contact to Patricia. I never meet Patricia before. Just our friend organized meeting for us, and just happened. I meet Patricia and meet Brian, and we start talking about changing in my company. We're writing some letter to our boss with proposition what we can changing. He was very, he was not happy that a letter was coming, and but he made what we want. We was afraid began do something because I am only worker, my husband is still at home, I will have a son, and when I will be without the work because boss can kick me out the door, then what can I do? And the people too, but we believe it. We was believe it that we make good, and that one we be guide them. It was not easy. Boss was very, very angry, and my English language is not so good, and we try kill language barrier to make good communication with the boss and with the member union. And I will say that the people believe that we can that matter, we can that do, that just will happen. When you believe in that what you do, you can do them. That means we have a contract. Each of employee, which one is coming new or which one was, has a contract. We have about every changing which one is coming. We have information which one you can read on the wall information, or you have take them with payslip. You have clearly information how many hours you work and what is how is income for 1 hour. everything is changing for better in my workplace, and that made 3 person for most like 150 people. It was not easy. That is not easy way, because we was very afraid. We was very afraid then boss can kick us out the door, but that is gone.
Yeah, actually, when I came here, I thought that people were really involved in political movements and were because they were always talking about Irish, British. But then with the time, I have realized that that is the only view they have, or they only would talk about that, but they don't. There are not other movements like globalization or environmental movements or feminist. It's just the Catholic Protestant struggle. They seem to be really involved, but not much more. As a foreigner, it's you see that the people are really involved, or they fight to ask for their identity, British or Irish. So it's difficult to look farther and open the borders to other cultures if they're still struggling to make their identity be clear.
Whenever we came here, our friends told us about, the band, the match on the 12th. Is it July the 12th, I think? Yeah, the match, and we would go follow them, because people follow the bands. And I realized during those times that people would be shouting our racist comments. There's no black in the Union Jack, so shoot them out. And people would throw eggs at us, or even pour drinks, and they would be making taunting noise, like monkey noise and stuff. And I felt really sad, because sometimes I used to come home to my parents and say, I don't really like these people, why don't they like us?
I can't believe I had Jeep, all my Jeep with eggs. All. Eggs? Yes. And it's just when see everything my wife, she just strike neighbor's house, what you doing? She said, we wanna live friendly, what you doing here? And she back, and after, I don't know what time they finished celebrate, but it's everybody was drunk. And like neighbor, this man is coming to my yard, I open a door, and he starts fight. Yeah. But I don't did nothing, just I take his hand, and my wife take photo camera just to make pictures, because he was in my place,
Some of my friends came in a Comber Square, and in a Comber Square was about 15-20 local young guys. We came off a car with a Lithuanian number plate, and those guys start pushing my friends, and we damage car lights, and my friends ran in a shopping center, and that's how we came safe. But basically what we find out later, those young lads thought with what we do community favor by pushing Eastern Europeans or foreigners.
It was a sticker that I've seen on the bus stop, and it said UK jobs for UK people or something like that, and there was something else written, but I didn't even want to look at it because I don't like this. I mean, the deeper you go in the States, you get really close communities, and people that are not well educated, but they do actually hate migrants. And I think that's obviously parents' fault, because parents are not showing any example, but you can feel racism in these. So what I do, I just learn to live, try not to notice it that much. So I do not like to live in the States, and I'm not going to live in the States. I don't like to talk over phone in Lithuanian language if I'm in the bus that it comes from a state. I don't go to bars where it's local people, and it's just making sure that there are no troubles.
There are some guys, I think they were having drink and behind some kind of flower on the side of the road. So they were walking towards me as I was going on this side. They were walking towards me from the other side. So then I was like greeting them, "You alright, mate?" And they didn't even answer me. But instead of that, they started throwing bottles at me. The bottle was smashing on the wall. So I started running. So they were running after me up to when I ran back to the city center.
We live next door to this particular couple, and every day, the day the bins get taken out, they would park the bin right in front of our yard, and the rubbish would just go everywhere. So it got to the stage that one morning my mom was just tired of it, just pushed the neighbor's bin across in front of their own yard, not into their yard itself, but where they parked the bins for the bin collected together. And the man who bin was moved came outside and to bring the bin. So my dad went out to meet him and says, "Why do you keep parking your bins here and the rubbish is going over in the yard?" And automatically, because I was watching out the window, I just given birth at that time, he headbutted my father, and my father fell down, and at the time the father of my child went out to see what was happening. I didn't know exactly what went on at that moment, but when I came out, he had a iron bar in his hand, and he struck my daughter's dad on the head with it, and blood was coming out, and people just stood in the neighborhood. Nobody came out to help. Nobody did anything. This guy struck my dad with the iron on his leg that he fell to the floor. He was lying there for a moment. I thought maybe something. My mom had to now come out to try and jump into the fight to try and stop what was going on. And they were shouting. The neighbor from one of the other door came and joined the fight and started beating my mom and my dad up. And when the whole thing ceased and they said the police was coming, the ambulance was called because my daughter's dad was blood coming from his head, so they called the ambulance. And when he saw that the guy next to him, when he saw the blood, I think that made him afraid. When he saw my dad on the ground, he became afraid and he ran back indoor. And after that has happened, the police came to take information down. And later on, we found out that nobody in the neighborhood said they saw anything. Everybody said they didn't see anything. Everybody said that it was our fault. We started the fight. I just saw everyone as cruel and very wicked. And at first, I used to stick up for people and say they don't know where we're from. And if someone called me nigger or something, I'd be like, his lack of ignorance. They don't know where I'm from. They don't know me as a person. So long they're not throwing bricks or sticks and stones at me, I don't really care. It's just words. When somebody goes physically out with someone with hatred to cause you harm, it's very scary. It takes a while for that to click in your head. You go over it in your mind and keep wondering, why would somebody do that? A few people that I've found that they're welcoming, they make me feel that there is still hope for somebody to get to know who I am, where I come from. That if there is, out of all that, there is someone I see someone who is still, I concentrate on those that are positive around me, those that are more open and want to know me. That's what I work with.
Well, I got some local people. We went to see those young lads, and we apologize. We pay back for damage. After with Newton Arts Council mediation North Island, we did some trips. Took a group of Lithuanians and group of young lads. We went to Newcastle, have a nice time, play games, and we did about four that type of trips, and everybody enjoy. Those young lads change mind, and we start as a friend.
I think the government are doing a great job, like opening those community center training, and I could see so many youths being going to centers for training, like apprenticeship kind of training. They've been doing that, but I think if they could get engaged more at the weekend or later during the day, maybe evenings, it will be it will calm. It will curb most of these activities, because they usually do it at the weekend or evenings, not during the day when they might have finished from their from their workshop, wherever they go to, and back to drink in the evening. That's when they start all these kind of activities. Being told about, how to make the community suitable for people from other parts of the world or from other kind of race. I think it will go a long way.
But I concentrate. I'm more positive when it comes to people who have open arms to me. Because those are the hopes in Belfast. Those are the people that make migrant people feel welcome. If you say hello to me, just a simple hello or how are you, makes my day. And I concentrate on that because there's no point in wasting my time being negative or being bitter with someone who's probably done it, probably doesn't know the effect that they've caused to me. They've just gone on to live their life, and I have to carry this and being afraid. Maybe if they could interview both sides to understand what is their perception of migrant people in Northern Ireland, and what are the fears, what is it that they don't understand, what do they want change, what do they want to understand, then it will give us a more understanding of why they feel they can't talk to us, why they feel like they can't get to know us, what's the barrier there. Maybe we can start working with how to break that down and get an understanding.
My wife, she's from here, and she's working here. The parents are here, and if I decided to move, where are we moving to?
We think we will live in Northern Ireland forever. I don't know what's going to happen after 5 years. Life is changing, but in the moment we will stay for a long, long time.
Home is always going to be in Poland. We live here. We are trying to be accepted by people here.
I don't see everybody in Northern Ireland as bad people. I do see there are some people who they're just who they are, but majority of people here can be pleasantly nice, except for the racist part, or the part that they don't want to reach out, get to know, embrace something that is not part of them.
Well, yes, it's 7 years, and life changed here as well a bit, and there's not so many people new people coming over now, but the people that are here are more settled, and a lot of them has their own families and young children, and there will be a new generation's problem going to school and finding a right school and crashes and everything else.
Well, basically I think so. Foreigners, people have to stand for their own rights. Employers have to know more law about how to get foreigner people in work, and trade unions. I will like to put more information. What type of work we're doing, how we're doing, and what support we can give for any individuals.
I think it would be very important, probably giving information to migrants that come here to work, because it's a different culture, it's different laws, different procedures. So if they are aware of their rights, it would be more difficult for agencies or employers to take advantage of them.
There has to be a way where someone can provide a questionnaire so people anonymously could, basically give a feedback, and that's where all the bad things would come. Did you get a contract? Do you work a fair amount of hours? How many hours do you work? Just basic stuff, and to identify the hotspots where, there are organizations and companies where they constantly make these mistakes, constantly break the law, and they do, and we all know they do.
And I think that a lot of that is down to the companies that employ. If they would try to bring everybody together, create a sense of unity.